Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm out for a long run. This is actually going to be the longest run of my Copthorne 50 miler training block. So I've got a few things that I want to tick off today, a few targets I want to meet. One is to run 26.2 miles, so to just about run over half the distance I'll be doing in a few weeks time. Now 3 weeks away, the race, and there's also some other things. So I'd also want to get in 5,000 feet of elevation today, roughly half of the elevation that I'll have for the race. I also want to eat my sandwiches, which might sound not a very aspirational goal, but on the day I'm going to be taking some sandwiches with me, so I want to get used to the food I'll be having for the day. So that's another goal. I also want to find some steps. So I did a recce run of the Copthorne 50 miler loop a couple of weeks ago, and there's actually a lot of steps in there, more than I thought. So if you don't know about the race already, then it's a 10-mile loop and you do it 5 times for the 50 miler that I'm doing. So yeah, there are 3 long sets of stairs in there, so really do need to try and get in some steps today if I can find some. So those are really the key things. The other thing is I'm trying out my shoes for today. So I'm in the Hoka Speedgoat 5s. They might be my race shoes, but I'm going to test them out today over this long run, over the elevation, the ups and downs, and see how they get on. So here goes. Bit dark today, a bit rainy, but still beautiful out here on the downs. So we're halfway in, so it is sandwich time. So I'm about to meet one of my targets for today already, just to have eaten a sandwich. So that's a good thing, just to tick off one target already. Oh, and by the way, if the terrain I'm going along looks a bit samey, you know, if you think today during the video, oh, I'm sure he's gone past that bit already. Well, it's because I have. So the South Downs is quite undulating, and there's not many parts where we have 2 extreme hills. So what I'm actually doing is targeting the parts that are a bit more hillier and then doing some laps of them, running on a bit, then coming back to them. So that's the way I can get in enough elevation over my 26.2 miles today. I haven't actually done a Copthorne 50 training video in a couple of weeks, so if you follow the channel, you might have noticed that actually I've kind of focused on other videos more recently. And yeah, that's been just because I've been focusing on those, editing them. So a couple of weeks ago it was the Beachy Marathon, amazing event. I went along there to film. Carla, my partner, was doing her 3rd marathon distance, did really well, battled through it. I also interviewed Andy, who plays the bagpipes at the Beachy Marathon, and also Tom Evans, who won the Beachy Marathon as well. So elite ultra marathon runner who came 3rd at UTMB early this year. So do check that out if you'd like to. I'll post it in the comments below, and the description below rather. And the other one I also did was a VO2 max test video last week. But now I'm back to thinking about Copthorne 50 training. So that'll be what's coming up over the next few weeks. So if you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing for that. Follow along my training and to see what I learn in the process. Right, we're going to get in some stairs here. So got some steps over that way. In fact, I've never been up these steps before, but my friend Tim told me about these, so thanks Tim for the heads up. They're actually just around the corner from where I do my loops, up over that way. But yeah, I didn't know they existed, so good that they are here, because like I said, the Copthorne 50 has several long stretches of steps, so important to get them in and try and replicate a little bit what it's going to be like on the day. So in terms of how training's been going over the last couple of weeks when I haven't been vlogging about it, I had a couple of really good weeks where I got in some decent elevation, if you tuned in before, you'll know that elevation is the focus for me for this training block rather than distance, though of course I want to get in some fair distance too. But yeah, a couple of weeks where I got in the most elevation I've got in any week. So 7,000 feet one week, 8,000 another, a couple of runs in there that were both over 1,000 meters of elevation, so about 3,200 feet or so. So yeah, a couple of really good weeks. The last couple of weeks though has been a bit of a drag, and I don't know what it is. I think, you know, if you look at what I've been doing on Strava and my actual runs, then probably doesn't seem like much different to what I usually do. But of course Strava doesn't tell the whole story. And actually I've just found I've been feeling quite low energy, low motivation before runs. I think it might be SAD, maybe some form of seasonal affective disorder potentially, because it's something I had last November, December time as well. As the days start to get oh God, as the days start to get darker and shorter, yeah, just a little bit less motivation. So it's something I'm going to look into. I know you can get these SAD lights, UV lights, which aim to give you a bit more of a boost. So that might be something I look into. I mean, when I get out there and actually run, then it's been okay, you know. Well, first couple of miles, bit of a drag, but I've still been able to, you know, enjoy runs, really enjoy them, and also be at a pace which I'm usually doing, like for my speed session earlier this week. But yeah, it's just the build up to them, and I tend to doubt a lot that I'll have the energy to do the run before I get out there. But once I'm there and doing it, then it's something that I enjoy and really appreciate. So hopefully over the next few weeks that won't be something that's too much of a factor in the lead up to the Copthorne 50. But yeah, it is something that has made the last couple of weeks a bit more tricky. Okay, 3 hours in, and the rain is starting to properly come down now, so I am pretty soaked through. And in fact, I've got a wind muffler on the GoPro, so I'm going to put it away for a bit, otherwise it's just going to be soggy and the audio probably won't come through. But yeah, 3 hours in, feeling good in terms of energy, but yes, it is starting to get a bit biblical. Right, we're 3.5 hours in and it's still pretty rainy out here, so still getting soaked. Are you right there? Are you a bit lost? Are you just, yeah, it's just you look a bit lost, that's it. No. Sorry, had to be done. Right, so I've done all the elevation I wanted to for today. So I'm about 4.5 hours in, and I've just got a downhill on the way home now. So to do a final few miles to get up to marathon distance, and then also to get up to a lapse time of 5 hours as well. So yeah, got really soaked earlier on. So I spent probably a good 2.5 hours of this run just very, very wet. But overall, pleased with it. I think I paced it very well, because I still feel like I've got some good energy left. Had my sandwiches earlier on and that certainly helped. I had a couple of potatoes too, an Ella's Kitchen sachet. So some people say it's like baby food, but it's kind of like a smoothie in a packet, I suppose. I had the coconut and bananas today, my favourite flavour. So yeah, it was a good picnic overall. Otherwise, in terms of fueling, 500 mils of tailwind, a litre of water, and that was about it, I think. So yeah, it's gone good overall. I've also had a chance to test out the Speedgoats in some more muddy conditions, but yeah, I'm not really sure on them. There's a couple of things I like, a couple of dislikes though as well, so I'll go into those in a moment. So likes firstly, let's start with the positives. Firstly, they're much more breathable than the Speedgoat 4s, so that I do like about them. The upper is also more forgiving, so someone like me with wide feet, it means that as my foot expands, it's not getting chafed on the upper here, so that's very positive. However, that does also come with a negative, in that they absorb water much more. So on a day like today, my feet were soaked after about half an hour. So possible negative there with having a lighter upper, but they are lighter and more nimble than my Speedgoat 4s. The other things which I didn't like about the Speedgoat 5s, some other reasons why I might not use them on race day, depends on conditions really. But firstly, when I was running over some of the exposed chalk that we've got on the South Downs, they were just slipping all over the place. It's fine with paths like this, you know, where it's a bit gravelly, fine with wet grass and a bit of mud, as long as it's not too extreme. But yeah, they just really don't do well on rock or chalk, those kinds of surfaces. Other thing I don't like about them is the tongue. Such a minimal tongue, it's hardly there. And I'm someone who typically likes a thicker tongue, but as you're running, this actually just slips under the laces, and it can mean you get a bit of bite across the top of your foot there. So yeah, the jury's out on that one. I'm gonna have to see, you know, weigh it up. Do I want to use these on race day or not? Not really sure as it stands. There are things that the Speedgoat 4s I've got do better, so it's kind of just weighing those up against each other. Right, so I'm all done with my long run for the week, and it has just started tipping it down again, so just in time. I'm out of the rain, taking cover here in Hove Park, and I think I'm going to get some warm things on as a priority. So I brought along a waterproof bag with me actually, which has my coat in, so it's got a Mac in there, and it's also got a spare thermal top, so I'm going to get that on right away before I do my warm down, and that'll be me done for this week's running. Yeah, there's my waterproof bag, so I tend to bring this along. It's got my phone in, got a head torch, and then a buff I can wear around my neck, and also a nice dry, hopefully, top. So yeah, get that on. So that's it for this week. I'll put up how I got on the screen, and then next week I'm going to start tapering, just a gentle taper next week, with 3 weeks to go now to the Copthorne 50, and then it's on the home straight. So thanks for tuning in, have a good week, enjoy your running, and I'll see you all in the next one.